Hello, sexy people and everybody in denial. I am Erica, and I am here today to tell you about how I made my next single's art. This is for my song called All That Matters. I've had it for quite a while, but only now am I releasing it, and it will be out on the 29th of April. In the meantime, you can pre-save at the link in my bio. So I've been really into blackout poetry. It started getting more interesting to me when I turned this book, Bossy Pants by Tina Fey, into a blackout poetry book. So I've been doing that to it. And the reason why I am okay with doing that to this book is because I really didn't really enjoy it. I don't think it's very funny to me. Sorry to Tina Fey if you ever watch this. I kind of dreaded seeing this on my bookshelf every day. And then one day I was like, screw it. And so every so often I will find a page and just make it something else. If you don't know what blackout poetry is, I'm so sorry I didn't explain. It is when you take a passage and you find words in it that you kind of resonate with and that can become its own poem. I think it's kind of reflective of how there are hidden meanings in everything if you are willing to look. I wanted to base my art off of that art form. I wrote out a little passage containing the words all that and matters in it so that I could eventually black out everything except for those words. I formatted it to look like it was in a book. Then I printed it out and it didn't really look right to me. It looked too perfect. And I realized that the paper needed to be aged. I've had this book for a while. It's got some stains and it's worn out in places. And I've always wanted to try aging paper manually. And so this was my chance. I looked up some tutorials and there were people using tea, there were people using coffee. I had some coffee grinds from my morning coffee that were sitting out. So I took a container, I put water in it, I put the coffee grinds, put some instant coffee in there as well in case what I had wasn't enough. I took the passage that I printed out, put in some extra blank pieces of paper, which thank goodness I did, because when I took everything out to dry, I realized that the ink had ran on what I had printed out before. I really love the look of aged paper, and to put blackout poetry onto old books is putting a new lens on history, which I vibe with. I realized I needed the aged paper first, and then to print on the aged paper. Tip: if you are aging paper using coffee grinds, have a vacuum nearby, because the cleanup was quite ridiculous. And if you don't want your room to smell like coffee for a week, don't do it in your room. I, however, love coffee. So once the paper was aged, it looked really cool. I was really happy with it. Put the paper in the printer. Make sure there are no more coffee grinds stuck onto the paper before you put it in the printer. And then I printed out the little passage. I tried a few markers or way of like blacking things out, but in the end I used Copic marker, standard. I used the thick side, and then I scanned it. I put it into Photoshop, adjusted the color a little bit, and there we go. Kept it simple for this one. I really felt like the blackout poetry was enough to tell a visual story, and it really fit what All That Matters is about. At the end of the day, very few things stick out and matter to you, and everything else gets kind of blocked out or it fades away. Nothing is in our control really, but everything else we can let go of. That's it. This video isn't as long as the other one, but I hope you enjoyed it. All That Matters comes out on the 29th of April 2022. There was quite a demand after I sang it at Pink Dot last year. I felt so sad that I couldn't direct anybody to an actual recording of the song on Spotify or anything. Now it's gonna be out. I really hope you stream it and love it I'll also be doing an Instagram live on the night of the 28th, 9 p.m. on the 28th. I will see you on Instagram live. I have a lot of exciting things happening this year, and please hang tight while they come to fruition. I love you. Bye.
You'd think the world would stop with you, but it keeps going